What did I just show you? If I were to ask you, what would you say? Movie clips? Paintings? If there was one thing common in all of them, it was the fact that there were a lot of colors in them, and the colors were trying to tell you a story, which is what brings me to what I'm going to talk about here today. That I believe that colors speak louder than words. Now, science states that there are only 7 colors which are visible to our eyes. So, if I had to ask you what is color to you, what would be your answer? Is it our psychological reaction to different wavelengths of visible light? Or is it how we perceive our visual reality? If the same question was asked to me, my answer would be, it's my favorite aspect of visual storytelling. Taking a cue from science, I'm going to share with you some anecdotes about what the different colors in the rainbow mean to me. First comes the color violet. Violet is a color that I associate with royalty, with regality. And when I talk about violet, I always think of a very glamorous event of very gaudy colors, which is why when I talk about violet, I always think about glamour. Next comes indigo. In our history books, we have been taught that the Indigo uprising was the first ever secular uprising in Indian history. And that is why whenever I think of the color indigo or I hear the name indigo, it always instigates in me a feeling of fervor, a feeling of certain patriotism, which is arised because of the flower indigo. Next comes the color blue. Now, I was in Bombay recently, and after a day of hard work, when my mom and I decided to visit the beach, we saw that it was a nice clear day. So at around 2 in the afternoon, when we were standing at the beach, my mom looked at the sky, and while looking at the landscape, she had just one thing to say, that look how blue the sky is. And in that one sentence, she encapsulated what she was trying to say, what her feelings were. It was the fact that she was feeling peaceful, she was feeling calm while standing there. That is what blue is to me. Blue is a very soothing, relaxing color that is used. Next comes the color green. Now, I love to travel. It's one of the reasons why I live. And one of my favorite trips was my trip to Darjeeling when I was 6 years old. At the time, whenever we used to go out for traveling, the tea gardens and the beautiful green landscape used to symbolize fertility. It used to provide me with a lot of peace, which is why even today, when I feel depressed and I'm tired, I just close my eyes and I just think of the landscape of Darjeeling. And for me, it's my own personal getaway on a daily basis. I think that Breaking Bad is the greatest show in the history of television. And in Breaking Bad, the color yellow is used in a very interesting fashion. Every time the main characters, Walter and Jesse, are cooking crystal methamphetamine, they wear very bright yellow suits, hazmat suits, as they are called scientifically. And while wearing these suits, they are preparing a narcotic, something that is a poison, something that can kill people. Which is why I have always associated the color yellow with toxicity and something that's very lethal, something that's dangerous. I know it's a very different way of looking at it. Then comes the color orange. The Godfather trilogy has had an amazing influence on me. It has changed the way I look at life. In The Godfather, orange is used in a very interesting fashion. When Vito Corleone is buying oranges from a street vendor, he is shot by unknown assailants. And in the process, orange is established as a symbol of death in The Godfather. Which is why throughout the story, every time orange appears on screen, we have to realize that some kind of death is about to happen, something ill is foreboding. Right at the end of the spectrum is the color red, and while it may be at the end of the spectrum, red in terms of emotions has a spectrum of its own. So what do you associate red with? Love, passion, anger, danger, maybe even. There are many things that red can be associated with, which is why for me it's the most flexible color that one uses. With that, I come to the end of my presentation in terms of how I look at the 7 colors of the rainbow. But then again, how can one small presentation tell you the beauty of different colors? I mean, the world around us is full of them. And how do you explain to someone what a shade of magenta looks like, or what turquoise feels like, or what the color amber cries of? I used to write blogs earlier, and one of the blogs once dealt with colors, which was written, I think, about a year back. Now, last year, I directed a short film, and what you're seeing in the screen behind me are 3 stills from my short film. Now, in the short film, I tried to use color in order to portray the emotion of the protagonist. It was one little thing that I was kind of proud of, even though the overall outcome of the film was not something that I was satisfied with. In the first still, you're seeing my protagonist, and he's confused. He's a young man. He doesn't know what to do with a lot of money that he has suddenly come across. And in order to portray that, what I did was, I made him wear a grey jacket with the zipper that is pulled right up to his neck. The grey color here symbolizes his confusion, the perplexed state that he is in. In the second still, my character is standing with the lady he loves, and the dilemma has kind of been solved by now, because now he knows what he's going to do with the money, which is why the zipper is now open, and you can see a shade of white underneath that grey jacket. And in the last frame, you can see that my character is not wearing his jacket anymore. The grey jacket is behind him, and a white shirt is all that's visible on him, which is to say that my character has gone from grey to white. He's not confused anymore. He has done whatever he had to do with the money. And so, with all this, what I'm reinforcing is the same fact that colors speak louder than words. And what I want to tell you all here is that don't take color for granted. Look at the world around you. Color is a blessing to all of us. It can be used in so many ways, even in texts. I mean, sentences like, in the pink of health, or green with envy, or as blue as the sky, or red with anger, can enrich your texts so much. They can portray so many emotions, and they can also help the readers visualize so many things. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation. What I want to say is, the next time when you look at colors in art, try to understand its many psychological ramifications. Try to understand its associations and transitions, and the world will open up to you a lot more than words or ideas ever could. Thank you.